welcome to the final table of the World Series of Poker Europe Main Event 2017.
Certainly one of the most heralded players to have not won a bracelet at this point. She's come close. Second place in a 6K, a 6 max 5K a few years back. She final tabled a shootout a couple of years ago.
Stranger things.
Lines are 50,000, 100,000 with a 15,000 ante.
All right, Robert goes all in. Ice is out.
And Roca, the former teacher turned professional poker player, makes the call.
Marty calls. And the flop is King of Clubs, Deuce of Hearts, Ace of Clubs. Turn card is a 6 of Diamonds. River was a 5 of Hearts, and Robert will double up.
Yonkers is going to raise the button. I don't quite know why you're staring at your opponent on your left when he hasn't even looked at his cards yet.
Marty folds.
And Feraldo's going to call.
We are heads up to the flop.
Neither one of these players particularly short or deep.
Flop is
Oh my.
Ace of Clubs.
Wow. What a nightmare for Matthias Yonkers. I mean, the only thing that's really good for him is the fact that there is an ace out there.
He bets 225,000.
Farrell's not going to waste any time.
Neil raises.
Those great chips, 100,000 each.
Matthijs folds, and Neil will win the spot.
And Yonkers gets away from it.
From Scotland, they're going crazy.
Fraser says, hey, Tuck, any chance of Kristen Bicknell coming by again, or did she leave Rosvedov already? I think she's leaving this morning. I promise if the players talk, I will let you hear them.
Makes the call, we're heads up.
Unfortunately for you and for me,
and our flop is the King of Clubs.
Most of, oh wow, what a flop here. Look at this. Maria Ho with top pair, Roca with bottom 2. Maria does have the King of Hearts. And Maria's going to bet. Got one like this where you've got some backdoor straight possibilities, backdoor heart possibilities. It makes sense to maybe include this in your check back range, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to bet it also. Certainly reasonable for him to check raise on what is a relatively wet board. 2 hearts out there, straight draws out there. He decides to check call, though. Last 10, 12 players. And Maria checks it back.
8 of spades on the 680,000.
He bets 680, so it's not a small bet by any stretch. About 2/3 pot. Wow, that's a great laydown.
Marty's going to win this one.
This is kind of what I was referring to before. Gianluca, the Italian, playing it very close to the vest today. This is an interesting spot because Maria no longer has a chip lead on Roca. You know, there was a point where she had 9 million chips and he had 4.5. And she can really put a lot of pressure on his stack, but
700?
things are certainly different now. And that was against a Russian yesterday, Osinovsky.
485,000 more to Marty.
What does he do with 2 red queens? How does he play this against Maria? And he's going to just call.
Marty makes the call.
I mean, I don't think we knew he was never folding. Oh, wow. That is an absolute cooler for Maria.
10 of hearts. Marty checks.
She 3-bets. She flops top pair with a good kicker. But she's not losing the much at this point.
All right, Marty makes the call.
Makes the call here. This pot is now 2.6 million already. Battling.
5 of diamonds.
Does it get any prettier
Marty
than that?
checks.
Not even a scare card, like not a jack or a king or an ace, where like theoretically she could have something. I thought she might check this back. Well, I think it's likely she thinks she has the best hand.
855,000.
Can she get 3 streets of value at this hand? Or is this the kind of hand that maybe she wants to bet the flop, check back turn, and then bet river? I don't know. How would you play it if you had king, queen? And it's 855 back over to Roca, and I think he's just going to call again. And Maria might be betting this to check back the river. I'd be shocked if she didn't improve. And
Marty makes the call.
Bet the river.
River card on the way. It's the 6 of clubs.
Yeah, I think it's just too ambitious to expect to get called by a worse queen at this point. Or jacks or nines or something like that. Unless you have history with this particular opponent. And they do, but we haven't seen Roca making crazy calls.
Marty checks.
Check.
Checks good.
Queens.
Wow. 3 queens full. Queens full for Marty. Looks like that's going to be the best hand. Marty's going to win this pot.
You saw Gianluca Speranza's total winnings there. This will take him up over 1 million, as each of these 6 players is guaranteed 174,000 euros.
Started this hand with like 3.5.
3.2.
Thank you.
And as I've mentioned, she's a great player, but she's in kind of a little bit of a dangerous zone.
All in.
Call.
Wow.
Raise is calling, and we have money on the ball.
This pot shall be the short stack.
The flop is ace of diamond, 8 of diamond, 3 of spades. Now, is 4 of spades.
Maria picks up some more outs. She has a wheel draw now. 6 outs with 1 card to come.
And the river card is a queen of spades.
Not going to happen.
So, nil double tap.
And the crowd goes.
Take a look at the 888 poker leaderboard. Roca cruising
System
along
leader.
with more than a third of the chips in play, 9.8
the
million.
table was
Farrell
done
now on
right
7.2
yesterday.
million. Gianluca
Yes, sorry.
Speranza 3.9, and it is Maria Ho who is a short stack with just 12 big blinds.
Again.
All in.
All in.
And Beckley moves all in from the hijack.
Yen.
Call.
Call.
Here it is 1,360,000. Marty made the call. It folds.
Good luck, guys.
Good
luck, guys.
Go down, please.
The flop goes 7 of clubs,
Wow.
3 of spades.
Not a good flop at all
It's all right.
for Beckley. This will only be chopped now 10% of the time. Roca's going to win at 79%. Bickley still with 3 outs. He has the 4 clubs in his hand.
Is queen of spades.
Still some chop outs. Bickley looking for a 4.
Yes!
Oh, wow!
It's a double forward.
Very nice answer.
So this can be your first time.
And just put a lot of pressure on John Luca's stack. John Luca very comfortable right now in 3rd place. Doesn't want to make a mistake. Doesn't want to give up those chips. I think that's obvious. And if you know that, you can put a lot of pressure on.
Jack of hearts and 8 of diamonds. Master checks.
Speranza's going to put out a little bit of a C-bet here. You wonder if Roca, I mean, his style is that he's just going to call. But again, this is not a terrible situation to check raise at all. But forgetting about the cards for a moment, it's really more about the situation, in my opinion. When you have a couple of short stacks out there, and in this case we have one very, very short stack, and a couple of kind of 20 big blind stacks.
10 of hearts.
I think you can lead out here, not only obviously when you make your flush, but I think you can lead out here with a fairly polarized range. Maybe some of your straight draws, 2 pair, flush. Just because Speranza is very unlikely to bet again with bluffs, and he's also going to check back a lot of his value hands on the turn.
Ollie? What are you holding?
I raise all in. Red forwards. Forwards.
It's like
GG.
1.255.
Sorry?
1.255, I believe. Or 1.26. 1.26.
And obviously he's doing this just to see if he can. I love this guy. I really do, but I think this is a little bit excessive. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. What, did he know it? What, did he know there were kings behind him? I don't know how the chips don't go in unless Roca decides just to flat the 3-bet. Such a sick spot. Blind on blind with an all-in player. Now, because there's an all-in player, you know that Farrell just moved all in. Roca's just going to double check. He clicks the call. Oh my.
Taking, without not taking.
Aces versus kings versus ace jack.
Rosvedov, baby, let's go.
Rosvedov.
Rosvedov.
680 kilo su 6-8 K6, quella 6-8. Non lo so, però ce l'ha sicuro.
This pot, by the way,
I would take king
is 15 million chips.
What?
If that comes 9 of diamonds.
Couple of diamonds, all right. Good
Farrell.
start. That's fine.
Farrell can catch a running diamonds here.
This is going to be
Running diamonds can do it for him. Maria Ho pretty much drawing dead.
The turn is a 9 of
And now
clubs.
only a king. Maria Ho is drawing dead. She'll be eliminated in 6th place.
The river card is an 8 of clubs.
No,
In the 6th position, in the 5th position.
that wasn't very fun.
Congratulations to both players.
Maria. I was getting mad all the time.
No, it was on. Good luck.
Good
luck
game.
to you.
Thank you.
So Luca raises to 250,000 on the bottom. Robert folds. Matthijs defends. Flop ace, ace of spades. Queen of diamonds. And he checks.
Although I think you were being a bit unfair on Roca for tank calling from the small blind.
Checks behind.
It's such a crucial spot. He has to do whatever he thinks is necessary. He's an 888 qualifier, all these things. I don't mind taking a few seconds, a few moments. I didn't mind asking for the count. You know, and I don't want to, for a second, I don't want anybody to think for a second that him tanking that long is what got him Farrell's chips. No, it was aces versus kings. That's what got him the chips. But hey, we can agree to disagree. Like I said, I don't mind. I didn't mind. If you want to take 5 seconds, 10 seconds to avoid giving up a timing tell, that's fine. But that was, in my opinion, a drop excessive. But this is going to get chopped up if it goes to showdown. But Yonkers is going to bet. Jamie Abada Basetta, whose tweets from Hal Barra, says they're more relaxed because the two best players are gone. And that could be the case. Well, that, and they've also, you know, yeah, they're going to chop this one up. They've also guaranteed themselves an extra 160,000 euros. All these players now guaranteed 335.
$20, 80, 160.
Can't touch this.
Nice.
David Tuckman here. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. He was already enjoying a beer. I shook his hand. He said, hey, come to grips with it. I already have. And he seemed at peace. It's been a great week for him. He earned himself 239,000 euros.
Flippy.
All in a call.
Whack, 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 whack. I flop a set, so.
Yonkers a slight favorite. This is a coin flip. Ace King versus deuces.
Yes! Flop a set!
Not a coin flip anymore. Roca needs running hearts or running straight cards. 3 of hearts for a sweat. No, no sweat.
Bora, mate.
It's a 5.
Still in it, still in it.
And you hear him say it, still in it to win it. And yeah. With his stack, I feel like limp shoving would be really effective.
Raise to 400.
He's going to raise, though. Not a very big raise. Oh, wow. We can get all in here again.
All in. Go.
Wow, and all in a call.
Bigger flippy. As going tegen 7.
I got to tell you, Roca's got to be happy. When he moves all in and he gets called that quickly, he's worried that his opponent has an overpair. To see ace king, you've got to be happy.
For the comeback.
And now Roca, a slight favorite. Yonkers tournament life on the line once again. The Dutchman, the 27-year-old Dutchman. Not much there for him. He needs running diamonds, an ace or a king, or he'll be out in 4th place.
Give me a diamond. Or a king.
How about a jack of diamonds for a nice little sweat?
Yes!
Oh! And there's the ace. Everything was going Roca's way just a little while ago. But back from the break, he looks like he's going to double Yonkers up 2 times in a row.
Don't ruin this for me, please.
And the Dutch crowd going insane. Blinds 80,000, 160,000 to the 20,000 ante. David Tuckman here for the World Series of Poker. And Bickley moves all in under the gun. And the dynamic once again at this table has changed because now Bickley, do you think he's doing this with any ace? I mean, if you know he's doing it with hands as bad as King 9 offsuit, then you certainly should be calling with ace 10.
Call.
And there he does make the call. Speranza to the big blind with queen 10. He's going to fold. Yeah. And it's ace 10 versus king 9. The short stack has won the first two. And the short stack ahead in the third one. Oh, what a sweat. Big sweat card there. 15 outs now for Roca. You can see him right next to his name. Any ace, any queen, any 10, any heart. But it's a black 6. A sloppy black 6 on the river. And in hand 102, Roca has doubled up another short stack. By the way, this is the third time that Bickley has been all in against Roca, specifically Roca. And the third time he's won. Now, one time he was ahead. And Yonkers is now our chip leader. Oh,
So now it's up to you.
wow. This is insane.
Bad guy.
Sorry?
I'm chilling. I like to stay.
Lean back.
I'm having fun with you guys. So
Yeah, just lean back.
Moet je jullie zo goed horen?
Race. 350.
cool.
Call.
Up, up. Let's see if I...
Roca raise, Bickley calls. 8-8-4, no suits. Certainly an interesting turn card. Bickley picks up a flush draw. Trips out there, though. You might occasionally value own yourself, but I think you can actually get value from hands like ace-king.
550.
He lets it go.
Race. 375.
Roca makes the call on the button. Speranza in the small blind with ace-8. Certainly considering a play here.
All in.
And he does. He moves all in. He might get called, though. And then it'll be up to Roca. Does he want to gamble?
Call.
By the way, if Roca
Around
calls
2.8.
this and loses this one,
2.7.
he'll be our short stack. I mean, just an insane turn of events. He has the best hand right now, but we saw one of the 10s dead. 6 high flop. Very unlikely to be at shop now with all those low cards.
Crazy,
A
crazy.
7 or an 8 will win it for Speranza. A 3 chops it up. Oh! Speranza's not going to play this hand. Oh, but Bickley is. Good morning. This is one of those spots where, I mean, because frankly, if Bickley can get action with his kings, he could theoretically double up and be the chip leader. Key spot in this.
Ace to 2.3.
And there you have it. Look at this.
Raise 2,300,000.
And Yonkers 4 bets, and man, I'm trying to, depending on what my stack is, I'm trying to think how much does he have. Is Yonkers committed here? If you think Yonkers is committed, then go with it. If you don't think he's committed, you could call this. Yeah, you know what? At this point, I don't know if Yonkers can get away from it. I mean, of course he can, but he's committed a lot of chips. And there's the all-in from Bickley, and Yonkers hates it. I mean, because it's only $3.5 million to call. $3.5 million back to him. He's getting 2.5 to 1. And he gives it up. That's a lot of chips to give away without seeing a flop. How did that happen? Picks up kings versus king, queen. Doesn't see a flop.
Yeah.
Yet picks up enough chips from the
No,
chip
because
leader
I-
to be the chip to be
I was
to be the
thinking
new
that
chip
I
leader.
put 20, but-
Tonka in the house, guys.
He doesn't have many chips, right? 2 million or so.
Yeah, he's the shorty.
Guess he's going all in.
Worked out the math, by the way,
All in.
4.
for Bickley. And Yonkers, by the way, has had a really tough go of it as of late. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. Some chop possibilities here. A 9.
Yeah. And the short stack has either chopped or won the last 7 all-ins.
Wow.
2 million what?
Gianluca, obviously. Let's go Italy. We cook for each other. We don't make lasagna, not really, to be legendary, you know. If Gianluca win, we will see, but we're gonna make something crazy for sure.
Any interest in the deal?
There is no deal allowed.
No deal allowed? Not official.
Like what, we get 3-handed? It's going to say dealer, you know, when he's on the button. It's not going to say UTG once we're
Should say
3-handed.
UTG, that'd be awesome.
That would be silly.
Somebody's on the button, 3-handed, going, I'd open this.
But I'm UTG. Yeah, shit.
But lost a lot of those chips with king, queen, then lost another one, and he finds himself right in the middle of the pack. At this point, it really is anybody's tournament.
Probably goes check fold. I don't think Yonkers is deep enough to float or to do any check raising silly things here.
Yonkers is pretty interesting, though. Dutchman, he owns the Open Dutch Championship of Poker.
He does, yeah.
And
He was telling me about it on day 3 because we played a bunch together.
Luis Rodriguez?
Yeah, it was Rodriguez, I'm pretty sure. Oh, check, and a 7. This could not necessarily get interesting, but this could cost Yonkers a couple biscuits. Yeah, you're going to be good a ton of the time.
He checks. 1.1 million in there.
Rocco should definitely find a bet now.
If deciding between stopping somewhere and a non-stop flight back to LA, I'll take the non-stop every time. Wow, it went check on the flop, check on the turn.
I mean, smaller pairs, 5s,
6,
4s,
yeah.
deuces, 6x. 400's fine, 500's fine, anything in this
Yeah, he
range.
bets 400. There's the call. Hey, he turns it over confidently.
Of course, yeah, how could you not?
I like your attitude when it comes to poker tournaments. You got interviewed when you got knocked out, so Tonka got knocked out, pretty late. He made a deep run on this, 25th place, and Ace King versus 9s. And I'm a cash game player. I don't play a lot of tournaments, so it's hard for me occasionally to wrap my head around the fact that
Right.
things are not going to work out all the time. And I know that's the same in poker tournaments, but the poker tournaments, the stakes are so much higher. Like, if your ace king holds up,
1.35 million or something like that. Yeah, way above average at the time. I think average was 9K. Yeah, I mean this was a big pot. Like it was. Ooh.
And you got interviewed, and you were just totally chill. Like, it's a poker tournament. That's how it happens.
Getting deep a lot and then losing the big one. It's unfortunate, but I mean that's just cards, you know.
I mean, if you keep getting deep, eventually at some point those slips are going to go your way.
You would think so. 475, big bet. I mean, you do apply a lot of pressure, but it just doesn't seem very good. So you just call. I mean, you can bluff later on in the hand. You can make a flush. There's lots of good things that can happen when you call.
Maybe you can rep a jack.
But raising is very bad because if you raise, you cannot call it off.
Ooh.
Interesting turn card. I don't hate a lead now from Roca.
Queen is good. A 7 is good. Methinks. Heart's good. He might even.
He is leading. Very nice.
He might even think a 10 is good here.
Very nice. I like this a lot.
Why?
The lead.
Why? No, I understand.
Because this 9 is better for us than it is for Bickley. Slightly, not significantly better. You apply a ton of pressure to his ace highs and his, 8x, his pocket 7, 6s, 5s, all these hands that bet the flop. King, queen. You apply pressure to all of these hands. He's going to have to fold a lot of them. I would probably go a tiny bit bigger, maybe like 780 or something like that. And yeah, you also get to see a cheaper river card when he does have a big hand like queens and he calls. Because if you checked him here, he's probably going to bet 1 million, 1.1 million, and you can't really continue with your open-ended straight draw and flush draw. Ace on the river.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen here. A shove would be really ballsy and would almost certainly get the job done. Even 2.5 million would probably get the job done. And he tells a very convincing story, especially on an ace, because Bickley should have a decent amount of ace highs that, backdoor into a pair here. But this is a pretty convincing story with if you have like a jack or, queen 10. I guess pocket 9s, but he does just give up and Bickley's going to take it down.
Queenie, queenie, weenie,
If
weenie.
Bickley bet the river, would you the short stack at one point and have been the chip leader at one point?
Nice.
Sí,
Speranza.
sí. No vull un reis allà per res del món, saps?
Let's see what he does.
Eh?
Oh, 10s for Bickley. Bickley picking up the big pairs here. I know they're playing for a lot of money, but everyone looks pretty upset on this final table. Bickley, very upset, but I guess he's just English. Wow. Big money coming up the end of the ladders here.
335.
Who's going to call?
689 for second.
I think this is very reasonable.
Tough hand to play, though, huh? Just doesn't
Ace
play, doesn't
3 out
play
of
well.
position. Depends on how much aggression your opponent is going to apply to you.
Right.
Oh!
It'll play much better in this situation.
If you flop 3 of a kind, yes, it most certainly will.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to play the hand when you flop trips.
See if Bickley decides to make a continuation bet.
By the way, does it tilt you if people call this a set?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Well, not really, because they just don't know. I'll be like, no, you have trips, not a set. And then if they continue to do it, then I'll be like, hey, stop that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean, I don't really care.
I bang my head against the wall. It just bothers me.
Whoa, aggressive. You're getting way too upset if you're banging your head against the wall.
Speranza checks.
I'd like to see a double check back from Bickley here.
Yeah, it's hard for me to get value from worse, right?
He'll cap himself to not being able to have an ace, but that's not really a big deal. You really keep the pot small. I guess Speranza is just going to call here. And then they'll probably check it down, I would imagine. Unless we get some Action Jackson river card. Grace, what are you check raising to, David? He has 4.8 million only.
I mean,
no, I don't think so.
no. Okay, no merit. I was just thinking, maybe you can get value, like maybe king checks it back and king bets turn. You can get value from a king by check raising.
Oh, by check raising an ace? No, definitely not check raising this hand ever in a million
Ever.
years. No, this would be crazy.
Okay, even with the spade coming off.
No, because you value own yourself when you don't get called by worse hands.
You don't think a king calls one time?
Yeah, maybe. But if a king calls, they're probably going to value bet the river as well.
Mustafa cheering on his roommate. I mean, it just seems like everybody's so check back heavy on the, especially rivers. Like if they're not nutted, they just check back so much.
I don't mind calling and then leading the turn or leading the river or something.
Leading the river. Look at this. This is weird. You're there and here.
I know.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So
Inception.
cool.
Inception.
Nobody wants to get check raised, bluffed, check raised in the river.
Liga is vet beter
Everybody's
libero,
just checking
alle
back.
Jota wordt nu ook allemaal
Like
paraat.
really good hands too.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The featured table makes people play differently. Yonkers is like an A7 offsuit magnet, man.
Yeah.
He gets these offsuit ace combos like all the time.
He actually
My
has that
goodness.
hand tattooed on his ass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you spank
I've been
it?
told. I've been told. I don't know. Stuff.
Very reasonable spot to shove pre here as well, by the way.
It's fine.
Obviously, also very reasonable to just call. Oh, he checks it back. Interesting. You know, with like virtually no equity here, I wouldn't have been surprised to see just a continuation bet there. But that's okay. He's going to get him with the delayed continuation bet. He picks up all the equity in the world. Speranza should feel very confident betting now. If he checks it back. Whoa. What? Why? Why did he do that?
He might call down with ace high though.
At this point, I mean, well, Speranza just has to bet. He doesn't have a choice.
Right.
Great river card for him to bet as well because he has all the ace king, all the ace queen, and Yonkers has none of these hands. So this bet should, I mean, definitely work, I think. Especially because you can double check back a jack here and then get paid on the river, and then be value bet in the river, even a 10 at this point. So yeah, I mean, I don't really think Yonkers should be calling here, and Speranza's bluff should work. But I think you accomplish, mostly the same thing on the turn. You also build a pot for when you make your straight or flush.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part I like better.
Which isn't really a thing when you're 25 big blinds deep, to be honest.
Right, but I mean, listen, if you well, his hand
but
looks
when
like
you
a
double,
10.
yeah,
when he
I
does
mean,
that.
look at how long Yonkers is tanking it with ace high.
And I think he snap folds the turn.
Yeah, for sure, almost certainly. Yeah, this is why I just don't really understand why we didn't see a bet on the turn, even the flop.
There's also, sorry to interrupt you, there's also you mentioned like, we're not getting check raised that much. This seems like a fear that I've seen a lot of guys talk about, like, oh, you don't want to get check raised.
Yeah. Wow, he calls.
He made the call, wow. I watch a lot of poker. And this check raise bluff thing,
Mira que está mal
it just doesn't happen as
Mira
much as
aquesta.
we're fearing. You can raise with like 5-6 with a backdoor spade draw
Of
on that
course,
same
yeah.
board.
And this is such a great strategy to have. This is exactly what this kind of trend is happening. And oh, whoa, action, Jackson.
Yeah, for sure.
This is going to go 3-bet, 4-bet, and we are going to have an all-in. Like we said, that's just the way she goes sometimes.
You know what? Nobody makes a final table of a major tournament without getting lucky at some point.
And he does 3-bet. Okay. Interested to see what Speranza does. I assume he's going to go all in. 1.1 million. Yeah, I mean, this is just like a great spot to be bluffing as well, of course, like we just talked about. Excusez-moi. He can have ace-king of hearts.
Yeah.
Like he shoves with he's going to be balanced. He's going to be shoving nut flushes here as well.
All in
and
and a
here we
call.
go.
All in and a call. He just double checks. Bickley double checks he has kings, and it's ace queen versus kings.
Big pot.
Yeah. About 14 million in there now. 13, just over 13 million in the pot.
Oh!
Speranza hits the ace.
Maar ze zijn best wel dicht bij elkaar hoor. De chain is best wel short.
And again, the player who has been all in
Has
at
binked
risk
it off.
has
It's
binked
not
off
over
each
yet.
and every
Bickley
time.
still has 2 kings.
Nog een aas?
That is
And
not
that
one of
changes
them.
nothing.
The ace changes nothing.
Nee.
Nothing
looking for
will
a black
save
king
Bickley
on
in
the
this
river.
hand.
Zou wel ziek zijn, hè?
Not a black king. Unfortunate for Bickley, man. That's brutal. So much equity in this pot, but I mean, that's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I mean, obviously it's disappointing, but at the same time, Bickley knows that.
I mean, he got super lucky, you know, he's
A bunch.
four-handed. Yeah, it's
Chip counts. Our boy Speranza, chip lead with about 13 million, maybe 12 million now. Roca has chipped up nicely. He is firmly in second place. The man we're looking at here, Yonkers, a Dutchman, he is in third. He's got about 4 million-ish, 3.8 million-ish, somewhere in that range. And our short stack lives in Manchester right now.
yeah, he got super unlucky with that with Kings versus Ace Queen all in versus Gianluca. If people are just tuning in, missed the hand.
Yeah,
You know, pretty standard hand, pretty standard all in situation, just super duper unlucky. Should be seeing a flop here.
But I always laugh when the guy with, like, you know, the guy who has aces gets knocked out by the guy with kings, and he thinks about how unlucky he got. And I go, you realize that, you know, if you had knocked the guy out with kings, he got just as unlucky to be dealt kings when you got aces.
Of course.
King high flop, Yonkers, with not only top pair, he also has the ace of diamonds, a little bit of insurance on the two-diamond board. Speranza with a gutter. No clubs out there for him, no? You started that.
Oh, it's okay.
I know.
Anytime you have over, you know, 4K, 5K viewers in Twitch chat, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Ace 10.
Fold.
So if you're getting all those folds,
This is why this is a pretty interesting and potentially very good play. I think it's really cool. It's something that I wouldn't think about doing. Oh, he's going to get a raise, though.
and this hand will be over once he raises, but I mean, it's hard for your opponent to hit a flop. It's hard to hit a flop.
For sure. I think he needs to put on a little bit more chips there.
Well, especially because you have the ace of diamonds, which is going to make up a lot of his, like, semi-bluffs.
Exactly, yeah.
Would you like the raise slightly better if he had ace king of clubs?
Sure. I still wouldn't like it.
Yeah, but slightly better.
But it would be a little bit better, yeah. Wow. This. Wow, 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 wow. I'm beginning to think that our reader might be wrong. Okay, well, I don't know if our card reader is wrong, but our bet size amounts is definitely wrong. There's currently about 3 point. No, the amount that's in the pot is correct.
Yeah, they'll fix it. Our guys are really good. And with the delay, they can fix this, so they will. But it's not usually wrong.
We've had some where it's been wrong, though.
Sometimes it can be wrong if a card is folded, and you might get it, like, it might go over the reader. But
Yeah, Steve. Ace king.
he called and then check folded.
Ace
so
king or
maybe-
shit. Nothing.
Hand 155 at this final table. Speranza all in from the small blind.
Go.
And Bickley's going to call with 10-8. It's just a 4 big blind shove. It certainly looks that way. Bickley with top pair. Speranza looking for a jack or a deuce. 5 outs to eliminate Bickley. Otherwise, Robert Bickley, the 29-year-old, will double up to just over 2 million chips. Queen of clubs on the river, and there's a double, and we continue on, four-handed.
Sorry, I'm not paying attention.
Once again, thanks for joining us here at 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. It's been a great run these past couple of weeks. Bickley's all in. He's going to get called here by Roca. No fold equity whatsoever. The pot is 2.4 million, and it's just under $1 million to call. There's the call. Roca doesn't waste any time making that call. And once again, he's a 3-2 dog. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, I've just never seen anything like this.
Oh, je maakt die kwads, ja. Running azen, running achtste.
Bickley with a full house. Just unreal.
Please stop flipping.
And there's a double up. And like I said, I hope it doesn't come off like I'm saying Bickley's not a good player. You're getting King 10, you're thrilled to get it in. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, he likes, like I said, he likes to see flops, you know?
I mean, the only good thing about checking here, and I think I'm probably raising, but the only good thing about checking here is...
Your hand does play very well.
Yeah, and I was going to say, you also, a lot of the hands that your opponent could theoretically be limping in with, you have dominated, like some hands like Jack 9.
Yeah, you don't really care about this kind of thing 16 big blinds deep, though.
I guess not. You just want to pair.
This is reasonable to think, you know, when you're like 50 big blinds deep, this is very reasonable.
Right, yeah. Free rolling,
A nice little free roll here, yeah.
7 bet, 250.
When check on the flop.
Ivan Luka.
He's a player.
He is indeed a player.
I have a lot of respect for us. He's made a few final tables that I've commentated on, and I've always been so impressed by his game.
He is a true wild man. Wow, Speranza gets there. Yeah, he's a true wild man when it comes to the game of two-card poker. Maybe he doesn't even shove. Maybe he just raises. We're going to find out, though.
Yeah, for sure. And this is going to make it even more, because Speranza, this is going to get Speranza up well over 60 big blinds, and Yonkers and Bickley at 13 and 14.
Rough shape, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Luka's one of those guys, by the way, I don't think he's the best player in the world. I'm not going to come out and say that. But he's probably one of the last guys I'd ever want to see on my left. The best players in the world on a daily basis.
Even if you do, you still don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's, okay, well, this guy's playing great right now. And yep, all in from Speranza. Yonkers will tank and fold, I imagine. Cold bluff. And he's going to let it go. One of the chips in play. For what is about 12 big blinds?
You would assume so. I mean, I'm not sure, though. He might just raise.
All in.
Okay,
There's
no,
the
he's
all
all
in.
in. And he is covering his whole face now.
You know, he's going to have King Jack, Queen Jack, Jack 10, right? All those hands.
For sure.
There's the call.
All right, we have an all in. Yonkers is going to need to hit King or a Jack to be ahead.
Looking for a King, a Jack, or some hearts.
Oh, King into the window.
And a heart. There's an 8-2, but a heart. I don't know if what the third one was.
Oh, 2 kings. He's most likely over at this point. And that's it, a boat.
Gewonnen. Hij is al klaar.
I feel like I'm in a sim.
Finally, the celebration.
All in.
Bickley's all in.
Bickley loves to shove wide, man. 12 big
Yeah.
blinds, the button, queen 6. Oh, my
there's a
goodness,
call.
this is going to be an all in.
Yeah. That's why I have a lot of respect for guys who can like do it generation after generation, decade after decade. Like, forget about them as people, but like you look at like an Eric Seidel, or like,
Oh, yeah.
even like a Phil Hellmuth.
Wow, ace jack as well for Roca.
Wow.
He's going to have to fold this one, though, I think.
And he lets it go.
Ajata voor Lejo.
Queen 6 off. I think Bickley's just like, whatever, dude, I'm going to bink it.
Laat het nou even busten
Bickley
dan.
the
Kom
binker.
op. Hey.
There's a 6.
Oh, 6. And we know an ace and a jack are both dead, so
Yeah.
Yonkers actually only has 4 outs here.
Oh, yeah. Yonkers' real equity is actually closer to about 15%.
Come on!
Booyaka!
Nobody has a club in their hand. Clubs are irrelevant.
Roca had a club.
Barry green sign, come on.
Barry.
Come on. Give me ace.
Old school reference, huh?
Give me an ace.
Wow, Roca would have eliminated 2 players. We would have been heads up if Roca had have called this.
What's
Sometime-
happening with you, man?
You know, you just got to say,
Shit, man.
could you ever do a limp shove?
You could, but Bickley checked King Queen before, so I don't expect him to raise very much. I don't expect him to raise this either. Bickley seems pretty happy to see a flop most of the time.
What would you do, though? Would you be raising it, Ace-8?
You can go all in. I wouldn't raise because raising means that you're either raise calling or raise folding, and
Ace-8's like the worst hand to do it with.
neither of those options are great.
Right, with Ace-8.
raise folding is sort of out of the question, and raise calling is also sort of out of the question when you're second in chips here with the ace-8 offsuit. You're never really getting in as a big favorite. So yeah, but I would
Ace
just
eight's kind of that middle hand where you don't want to do that.
I would just check back or go all in.
Well, he makes it 690.
And again, from the way Sprans is playing, I would assume we're going to see a call here.
Once again, the 888 poker payouts. Feraldo got knocked out what seems like yesterday at this point for just under 240,000 euros. What a great, by the way, Feraldo's scores for just this series, 1 million euros. He wins
240,000
240K
here. A clean million.
Yep.
Whoa.
Oh, bye-bye, Bickley. You know what? You never
say
know.
bye-bye. I doubt this gets all in, but
He's gonna go check.
Bickley will lose some chips
Bet
in this hand,
call.
that's for sure.
Check back sometimes. He decides not to, and he bets. And what's the play? If you're Speranza, you just check calling, or are you gonna check raise and just go? Let's go.
Check call. If he never has a bluff,
No,
then
let's
obviously
say
it's
he
okay.
is bluffing.
Yeah.
He is bluffing.
Yeah.
He's got queen jack here. He's got.
Okay.
He's got whatever 6-7. I don't care. What happens if he's never firing what if he's not firing a second bullet though with that bluff and he's going to shut down?
Well, then you can lead, or you.
Check call.
I mean, this doesn't. It's irrelevant, right? Because if he's never firing a second barrel, then he's even less likely to re-raise or call a flop raise. You know.
But then why let him realize his small amount of equity for free?
We're done.
I'm just throwing some ideas out there. I want to hear your.
None of this makes any sense at all. You're just.
Well, that's why I'm asking
You're
you.
just speaking words, and they don't make any sense. You're basically saying, like, okay, so if we know 100% that he has queen jack here, and we also know 100% that he is never going to bet
bluff.
again, maybe we can raise. We don't know any of these things
Of course,
for certain.
I know
you can
that.
never be
I know
certain.
we don't definitely know that. But
So these are irrelevant things to talk about.
fair enough. Come on! 0 for 2 here against Tonka.
Yeah, you're struggling. You're struggling hard.
Hey, dude, that's why I'm a play-by-play guy. That's why we're
This is
bringing
a
the
reasonable
analysts.
check, though, for sure. The thing is, by shoving, you don't really get called by any worse hands except for ace king and ace queen.
Jack 10.
Jack 10, yeah, I guess so. If he bets the flop, bet calls the flop with Jack 10, but this isn't.
But
very
you're always
likely.
paying him off when you're beat too, though. You're never folding.
Yeah, but he folds ace hands like ace 8 when you shove the turn. This is pretty
I
problematic.
don't think he
for you.
does.
He almost 100% certainly.
I'll never-
1.8, I think. This is a huge pot if it gets called.
Yeah. I mean, if Bickley calls this,
1.6. Yeah, this
it'll
is
be
a
like
great bet.
10 minutes from now until he doubles up again.
And he does call, yeah.
Ooh, baby.
Bickley loves to shove, so I would assume we're going to be seeing it all in here. Even though he does have the worst 2 cards. Yeah, he shoves.
He's not shy.
No, not at all. Oh, and a snap call.
Snap call with
Sevens. A7 suited. Bickley is at risk. So we know that Bickley is about a 95% favorite in this hand.
Wow, this
Wow.
is the first time Bickley has not hit the flop. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Deuce of spades, though. Deuce of spades, lots of outs.
Oh, yeah.
Any spade, any ace, any 7 for Matthijs Jonkers.
Come on!
What a sweat for Bickley.
Come on! Yes!
Matthijs Jonkers hits the nut flush, and we are 3-handed.
Yes!
And by the way, just to put it in perspective, guys, because they were so close in chips, that 9 of spades, when was the last time you played a poker hand where the river was worth 150,000 euros? Because that's the difference.
It's been an amazing week. Pretty unbelievable, to be honest. And I thought I was right back in it there, but that 2-pair, he killed me at the end there.
Always the river, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you going to do some celebrating tonight anyway?
Yeah, I think so. A few drinks and then, back home tomorrow.
Okay, and what's the plan? You've got a job as well, right?
Yeah, back to work Monday. Back to
No, back to work.
real
You've just
life,
won
yeah.
335 grand.
Yeah, but it's been amazing.
Okay, well, thank you so much for chatting with us. Congratulations.
Roca raising with a gap-suited connector. And nobody's going to call this. Well, Speranza doesn't. Yonkers might call.
I wouldn't put it past Yonkers folding this hand, but I think he wants to call. $560,000 continuation bet. Curious to see what Yonkers does now, whether he will be check raising all in or he will just be calling.
The yellow chips are 5K, fairly irrelevant at this point of the tournament. Blue chips are 25K, and the dark gray ones 100,000 each.
And he does call. We will be seeing a turn. This could get interesting. Turn rolls off like a 5 or an 8 of spades or something like that. 4 of spades. This could get interesting. But the turn barrel is really strong. You also have to assume Yonkers has some ace highs he calls on the flop, maybe even some king highs. And you do, at the end of the day, just have 9 high and a flush draw to fall back on. So I would like to see, a bet of 900,000 here from Roca. I think it works a lot.
He just has way too many bluffs in his range, doesn't he?
I'm not really sure again. I mean, if he's checking back 9-7, then he probably doesn't have too many bluffs in his range.
Well, look at that
He does
run out.
get there. He does get there. True. But it's very unlikely.
It's hard.
Virtually impossible, actually.
Why?
Because Yonkers just isn't double checking a 4 here. This would just be crazy. He's just not doing it. He's going to value bet a 4 on the river. This bet is good. 980,000. Very reasonable bet. Matthijs counting it out pretty quickly. Looks like he's a non-believer. He is indeed a non-believer. Yep, and there he goes. Oh, Roca waking up with a couple of 5s here. Looks like he's going to call here. I mean, he hasn't folded yet. It seems pretty likely. I'm not sure if he's going to go all in or just call.
Yeah, he hasn't been
Oh,
shy.
call, he says.
He
Roca has
hasn't
called.
been shy about
How much is it?
making big calls in all-in situations.
Why is Speranza wasting time? He wants to just seem like he's not raising wide. Like, they're going to see it in half an hour anyways.
And listen, you're the chip leader in a three-handed tournament.
Yeah, like, you don't need to protect the fact that you're raising wide. It's not a big deal.
I might even turn my hand over. I don't care.
Flippy, flippy, flippy. Come on. Yeah! Come on.
That would be fun. That's a fun way.
Yeah, one out. Otherwise, Yonkers is going to double up. And Roca's just going to, wonder what he has to do
To win a
knock
hand.
any of these guys out, right?
Wow, very close as well. A red 6.
God, I hate that.
Well, when it was close, yeah.
All in.
Roca's all in on the button. He wants to count. Looks like about 13-ish big blinds, just a tad under. 12.7 big blinds.
$3.8 million?
Yeah.
3.8.
3-8.
Roca with 3.8 million chips. 13 bigs. He's going to let it go. Yonkers with 16 big blinds and king queen.
I think this is too good to fold.
Yonkers thinking about this. With regards to ICM, he makes the call.
Call.
Yonkers makes the call, and it's king queen versus queens.
Asso 6.
Moet een koninkje spiken.
Now this is the first time Roca has been all in, at least that we've seen.
Kings Casino. Ace. Oh.
Not a very good flop for Yonkers.
Maybe 10
10 of
jacks.
clubs would be a pretty good sweat card.
10 of jacks. 10 of clubs. Yeah. We want to sweat dealer. Come on. Come on.
Neither player with a heart in their hand. Heart's not relevant. The Italians all standing together, watching this one out, seeing if they'll be heads up.
Would be so sick.
Or
Double up.
It's okay.
Yonkers
It's
is
all
going to be
right.
all
Just
in
right.
here with ace-7. They're going to get a count. Roca gets out of the way. Speranza obviously calling.
Oli.
There it is, the all-in, the call. I mean, Yonkers is technically has like 200,000 behind. He's obviously not folding.
Call.
And it's ace-10 versus ace-7, all in. Ooh, that's an ugly flop for him.
Ik heb nog maar 2 outs.
2 spades out there. Yonkers loses an out. He needs a red 7.
Please. Please. So.
He hits a 7, but it's the wrong one. Speranza, with the nut flush, will eliminate the 27-year-old Dutchman in 3rd place. 476,000 euros headed over to Matthias, and a lot of respect. He played brilliantly, and he heads over to his girlfriend and gets a well-deserved hug.
We can make a minute break. Yeah, sure.
The crowd cheers for him.
Bathroom,
There you have it. Wow. Speranza's going to raise. If I have a big hand, if I'm Speranza, why would I raise when I finally pick up a big hand? Wouldn't I just limp and let my opponent move all in as he's done so often? Roca calls
Marty makes the call.
and decided to
King of clubs. Tray of
raise
hearts,
with it.
Queen of hearts. Marty checks.
It would be ludicrous, wouldn't it? Why wouldn't you trap your opponent? So the fact that he raises here just certainly would make me raise my eyebrows. Trying a new strategy here. Roca decides to call the raise with Queen 5.
Marty calls. Six of hearts on the turn. Marty checks.
Speranza hits a pair of 6s now. Here's the 3rd heart out there.
Two checks. We'll see the river card. It is ace of diamonds. Marty checks.
Quick check from Roca. Roca has 5.9 million behind.
All in.
Wow! And Speranza moves all in.
Jean-Luc says all in.
Eight calls.
And we got a
He
call.
makes the call. What a call here from Roca. He's
Got a pair of
pumped.
sixes versus a pair of fives.
The fist
Looks
pump
like
with his
Marty
left
with a pair
hand
of
as he makes a
queens.
killer call with a pair of
It's going to be the best
queens.
hand. It's going to be Jean-Lucas'
And
pair
Roca's
of
our new
sixes.
chip leader.
And Marty's going to double up.
What a turn of events here.
Check.
Marty checks. We'll see the flop. 8 of diamonds, tray of clubs.
And Roca now kind of changing up his strategy a little bit here. It's an awkward stack. He doesn't want to shove 25 bigs or 27 bigs.
But
He doesn't want to have to raise and then fold. But I think since Speranza is over folding so much, I think that Roca can stay aggressive. But I think with ace-7, it's just, you know, you can raise that. The hand's not going to play very well post-flop.
He calls. 4 of clubs on the turn.
Speranza turns a pair of 4s. I mean, when I'm playing against my opponents, I just try to figure out, I feel like that's probably the way to go. Check, check.
Deuce of diamonds on the river.
check.
Marty checks.
And check.
All right, checks good. Let's see something.
And 7.
Ace high.
No,
Pair of
that's-
4s for Jean-Luca. Looks like that's going to be the best hand.
Raise 1
Roca
million.
raises.
Marty raises to it.
Is going to call.
Flop is king of
Continuation bet should get through, although Speranza has snuck in some sneaky little check raises here and there. You got to bet here, though. You got 6 high.
And check.
Marty checks. Tray of diamonds on the river.
I really like Roca's game. I don't quite understand this play.
Jean-Luca
Certainly feasible that he would check back a jack 2 streets or even a 9 2 streets and then bet.
3,000.
And there's a call.
Jean-Luca calls.
Great call from Speranza.
That's for my friends.
Yeah, that's, Roca's going to hate it. Wow.
I was losing.
Awesome.
Nice call, sir.
Jean-Luca wins that flop.
Awesome. I checked it twice, let you get a pair
I
of
just
threes.
think
and then
to have the best Check, 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 check. M'ha defensat això que eren suited o no? Suited or not?
And
You bet on the
Speranza
river, I
back
think.
in the chip
Yeah,
lead.
yeah, no.
okay.
Your hand was suited or not?
Doesn't matter.
You're watching the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. Heads up for the bracelet and 1.1 million euros.
Marty moves all in.
Too close.
Oh, and we get a call. And this could be
We
it.
have some hands here.
Kind of what Speranza was waiting for.
Looks like Marty's
He
gonna
knew at
call
some
the ace
point
For a 4.
he'd pick up a hand
Jean-Luca has called
when
in
Roca
with ace of
shoved,
spades
and it finally
jack of
happened.
hearts, which is the best hand at the moment.
Ace Jack versus Ace 4. This pot is 20 million chips. The lion's share of the chips in here.
Jack of class.
All right, here comes the flop.
Roca looking for clubs or a 4, or this is over. Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Marty has just flopped a wheel with a 5 of clubs,
Wow.
tray of diamonds, and the deuce of hearts.
Wow!
Ace 4 makes a wheel.
And Roca with the big double up, running cards to
Jean-Luca's
chop
going to have
it.
to catch runner to tie.
And it's not gonna happen.
Tray of hearts was no help, and the river card
Only a
Trying to
4.
bring the-
Oh my!
Ace, deuce, trade, 4, 5. Let's chop this one up.
We
How
may
about
be
that?
here forever, folks.
Ace, deuce, trade, 4,
Now,
5.
I spoke too soon. I'm like, it's not gonna happen.
What an
It's never
exciting
gonna happen,
final
right? Ace 4 versus Ace Jack.
That was
Roca
sick.
flops the
Thank
wheel.
you for listening.
And what looked like was going to be the last hand of the tournament, pre-flop, turns into a nightmare the other way around.
Sull'impatto da bottone.
No, si n'ha per la vera.
Speranza, after that flop, begging, praying for a chop. Needed the 4,
Ok.
and there it comes. Unbelievable.
Hello.
No, no.
Marty checks. Let's see what happens this hand. Flop is Jack of clubs, King of diamonds, Deuce of hearts. Marty's first.
Okay.
He checks.
Six.
Gianluca bets 600,000.
Four.
Marty calls. Deuce of spades on the turn.
Check.
Marty checks.
And check.
Checks good. Tray of diamonds on the river.
I find it amusing that people in the chat are saying, poor Roca.
Check.
He got it all in with Ace 4 versus Ace Jack.
Well, players check. Let's see something. Jack 10.
They didn't get it in on the flop. They got it in on pre-flop. Ace 4 versus Ace Jack.
Deuces, Jacks and deuces, 2 pair. It's going to be the best hand. Marty's going to win this one.
Poker Roll says, commentator told us the tournament will finish in 40 minutes, LOL. Like I said, I would set the over-under at that. What was that? I said, I would set the over-under. It's 2 in the morning right here. I would set it at like 2:40 in the morning. Right now, it's like 2:36 in the morning, maybe 2:40, somewhere in that range. Like I said, there's just not that many chips in play. You imagine that scenario could happen again. At some point, one of these players is going to win a big pot, and they might win another big pot, and it will be over. Who knows?
Marty's first here.
I think I got so excited that somebody might win a big pot. I think I even said he needed runner to make a straight when clearly, obviously, he just needed a 4.
Right.
Nonetheless, though,
Five.
the 4 spikes on the river, and we continue on.
Marty called. Marty called.
And at this point, it does become a battle of endurance and focus. Not unlike, I'm not going to say poker's a sport, but not unlike a sporting match where you look at your opponent and you see they're tired.
Gianluca checks. We'll see the flop. King of hearts, 8 of hearts, 9 of clubs. Gianluca's first. He checks.
Well, a 6, a non-heart 6 could really make things interesting, as Roca would have 2 pair and Speranza would make the straight.
525.
Marty bets 525,000.
I don't really love calling with this hand. I don't think this hand is strong enough to call with. And Speranza apparently agrees because he's going to raise.
1,000,006.
Speranza getting a little bit unlucky. It seems like every time he raises, Roca's got a pretty big hand. Pass 227 says, after the double knockout, I said it could be over in an hour. That was 11 hours ago. Yeah, I might have said that. And in all fairness, it could have been. Keep in mind, 11 hours ago, the man we're looking at right here, Marty Roca, had 18 million chips. He had 70% of the chips in play. He also lost an all-in to all three of the last four players. If he wins one of those all-ins versus Yonkers or Bickley, it would have been heads up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours ago.
Turn card is the
Battle of will and who's going to be able to stay focused and not make a mistake. It's hard.
Check.
These guys have been playing for 6 days straight. And they've been going at it for 14 hours today. 14 hours and 5 minutes to be exact. That is a lot of poker when you're playing for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I should actually say hundreds of thousands of euros.
5 diamonds.
Speranza now makes a pair of fives. After raising the flop, he has decided to give up, apparently. He went check, check on the turn. Does Speranza bet the river? And if he does Roca call with top pair? I imagine he would.
Check. Check.
Yeah, and Speranza gives up.
Probably good.
Pair of kings.
5
5, 7. How about a pair of fives?
and king.
And a pair of kings for Marty.
And I think when Roca quickly checks it back,
Pair of
Speranza
kings is gonna be
knew
the best hand.
his fives were no
Marty's
good.
going to win this pot.
I want to say that we have another maybe 45 minutes left in this level, and then the blinds will go up to 300, 600.
All right, Marty's first act here.
I mean, there's no way we're getting past the 400,000, 800,000 level, right, guys? There's going to be like 33 big blinds in play at that point. Right? I don't even know anymore. David Tuckman here for the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe. Thanks for sticking along. It's been a great ride. It's been a lot of fun this week.
All in.
All in.
We might get an all-in and a call here.
Marty moves all in.
All in.
There it is. An all-in and a call.
Gianluca calls.
I think it's Roca who's all in.
Ching, ching.
It is super close.
Gianluca shows ace of clubs. Jack
It's
of
ace-jack
diamonds
versus fives.
Versus Marty's 5 of clubs.
Fives a
five of
slight
spades.
lead.
Split will be complicated.
It's going to be
this time.
The
difficult
chips
for this
are
to be
real
a
close
chop.
right now. I don't know exactly where we stand. Do we know
I
if
believe it is Roca
he's a little bit more? I think he may
who is
have
at
a little
risk,
bit more.
but it's super
You have a
close.
little bit more?
They're going to have to count.
Okay.
Yeah, he
We'll
had a
count
little
at
bit
the
more.
end. Let's take a look at the flop.
And there's an
Flop
ace.
is 9 of diamonds, ace of hearts, tray of clubs.
Mustafa Kanit
Gianluca has
Keep
the best
his-
hand with a pair of aces.
keeping everybody in control here.
Marty's looking for a 5 or running 4 deuce.
Oh, you got to be kidding
Ball
me.
is a 5. Trip 5s.
Wow.
Gianluca is drawing dead. 9 of spades on the river, a full house, 5 small nines for Marty. He's going to. All right, here comes the flop. Flop is 4 of
Pair of
hearts,
fives here.
King of spades, 5
Speranza.
of hearts.
Looking
Marty's
for a
flopped
10
pair of
or an
fives,
8.
which is the best hand right now.
Roca has a heart in his hand.
Gianluca's looking for a 10 or an 8. The turn brought an ace of diamonds, which is no help.
Only a 10 or an 8.
Looking
We'll
for a
stave
10
off
or an 8.
elimination.
6 cards left in the deck that can help him. If not, Gianluca will become our second place finisher. Here comes the river card.
It's
River
over.
card was a trade.
It's over. The 36-year-old from Barcelona, the former teacher, the 888 qualifier. That's right. He qualified online at 888 Poker, and here he is winning 1.1 million euros. Congratulations to our winner, Marty Roca.
Good job.
And now what?
Now what? Go collect your money and celebrate.
Well done.
What a fantastic final table. And what a fitting way to end.
I need to
Gianluca Speranza, second place. He'll take home 689,000 euros. And certainly should keep his head up high. Played very, very well. Unfortunately for him, just didn't work out in the end. And there's our winner, Marty Roca from Barcelona, your 2017 World Series of Poker Europe main event champion.